Imagine a world where fire is not the end, but the beginning, where destruction is not final, but the very spark that gives life anew. This is the world of the phoenix, one of the most captivating and enduring symbols in mythology. The bird that dies in flames only to rise again, brighter, stronger, and eternal. Today, we are diving deep into the myth of rebirth, immortality, and the universal human fascination with the phoenix. Close your eyes for a moment and picture it, a majestic bird, radiant with golden and crimson feathers, wings spread wide as it soars across the horizon. Its song is said to be so beautiful that even the sun god himself would pause to listen. And then, at the height of its glory, the bird builds a nest, woven from aromatic woods and resins, sets itself aflame, and vanishes into ash. But from that ash, from that seeming end, emerges new life, the phoenix reborn. This myth is not confined to a single culture. It has appeared across civilizations, each adding its own flavor, its own interpretation of the eternal firebird. From ancient Egypt to classical Greece, from early Christian writings to Chinese legends, the phoenix has been a global traveler, carrying with it the themes of immortality, renewal, and the eternal cycle of life. In ancient Egypt, the bird was known as the Bennu. This bird, often associated with the sun god Ra, was said to perch on the sacred stone in Heliopolis, the city of the sun. The Egyptians saw the Bennu as a symbol of creation and rebirth, tied deeply to the flooding of the Nile which brought life to their lands. Imagine standing by the Nile thousands of years ago, watching the waters rise, bringing fertile soil, new crops, and new hope. For the Egyptians, the Bennu bird was not just a myth. It was a reminder that even after hardship and drought, life would return. The Greeks took this myth and gave it wings in their own tradition. Herodotus, the father of history, wrote about the phoenix, describing its journey from Arabia to Heliopolis every 500 years, where it would burn itself upon the altar and be reborn. To the Greeks, the phoenix embodied immortality, the triumph over death, and the beauty of eternal renewal. The Roman poet Ovid echoed these tales, painting vivid pictures of a bird that lived for centuries, only to transform through fire and begin again. But the phoenix is not just about survival, it is about transformation. Think about that. It doesn't simply cling to life, it embraces death as a necessary step for renewal. There's a profound lesson here. How often in our own lives do we cling to what is old, what is comfortable, even when it no longer serves us? The phoenix reminds us that sometimes we must burn the past in order to rise to our fullest potential. In early Christianity, the phoenix became a symbol of resurrection, of Christ's victory over death. Writers such as Clement and Lactantius drew upon this myth to illustrate the promise of eternal life. Imagine the comfort this image would have offered to communities facing persecution, death, and uncertainty. The phoenix was not just a mythological creature, it was a sign of hope, a feathered promise that the end is never truly the end. The myth stretches even further eastward. In Chinese mythology, we encounter the Fenghuang, often considered the Chinese phoenix. Unlike the Western version, the Fenghuang does not burn, but it embodies harmony, virtue, and grace. Appearing only during times of peace and prosperity, it was believed to signal the presence of a just ruler. Where the Western phoenix teaches us about cycles of destruction and renewal, the Fenghuang reflects balance, order, and the ideal of human virtue. Yet no matter where we look, Egypt, Greece, Rome, China, or beyond, the core remains. The phoenix is the eternal symbol of rebirth. It whispers to us across centuries, across continents, reminding us that endings are not final. They are beginnings in disguise. Now, let's bring this down to earth. Imagine standing before a fire. The flames crackle, the wood turns black, and smoke rises into the air. At first, it feels like loss. Something beautiful is gone. But then, days later, you return and see fresh shoots of green pushing through the ash. Nature herself shows us the phoenix in action. Forests burn, only to regrow stronger. Volcanoes destroy, yet in the fertile soil left behind, life blossoms with vigor. The phoenix myth is a mirror of the human spirit. Every one of us has faced moments when life seemed to collapse into ash. Loss of a loved one, failure in our dreams, heartbreak, or despair. And yet, here we are, rising, breathing, living. The fact that you are here today, listening to this story, is proof of your own phoenix moment. You have risen from the ashes before, and you will again. What makes the phoenix timeless is its universality. Cultures didn't trade notes on this bird. The myth simply appeared in multiple places, as if humanity itself needed this story. Because we all fear death, we all wonder what lies beyond the fire, and we all crave the comfort of believing that nothing truly ends. But let's also be honest, the phoenix is not just a story of comfort. It challenges us. It tells us that growth is not possible without sacrifice. It dares us to let go, to burn away what no longer serves us, so that something new can emerge. In that sense, the phoenix is less about avoiding pain, and more about embracing it as the fuel for transformation. So, how does this play out in our daily lives? Think about the Renaissance. The very word means rebirth. After centuries of darkness in Europe, human creativity, science, and art burst into flame once again. The Renaissance was a phoenix moment for civilization. Or think about modern times, when cities devastated by war have risen again. Places like Warsaw or Hiroshima, rebuilt from rubble into thriving communities. These are phoenix stories, written into the very fabric of our world. The myth also finds echoes in literature and popular culture. From Harry Potter's loyal phoenix fox, shedding healing tears and carrying immense strength, to modern films where heroes rise from defeat, the archetype of the phoenix is everywhere. It is no coincidence. Writers and artists know that this story resonates because it is our story. Now, pause and think, why fire? Why does the phoenix always return to flame? Fire is both feared and revered. It destroys, yes, but it also purifies. In alchemy, fire transforms base metals into gold. In mythology, it refines the soul. The phoenix is not reborn through comfort, it is reborn through trial by fire. That, perhaps, is the truest lesson of all. We are not shaped by ease, but by the challenges we endure. Picture again that radiant bird, wings outstretched, feathers shimmering like embers at dawn. It has faced its end, embraced the fire, and emerged more magnificent than before. This image is not just a fantasy, it is a metaphor for you. For all of us. Every time we fall and rise again, every time we transform pain into strength, we become a little more like the phoenix. So, next time you face a trial, remember this myth. Remember that the fire is not your enemy, it is your teacher. That endings are not a void, they are the ashes from which something greater can rise. The phoenix is not just a creature of legend. It is a call to courage, to resilience, to the unshakable belief that no matter how many times we fall, we can always rise again. And maybe, just maybe, that's why the phoenix endures. Because deep inside, we all long to believe that immortality is not about never dying, it's about always being reborn. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. Share this video with a friend who loves a good mystery. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you won't miss the next story. There's a lot more to uncover, and I'd love to have you along for the journey.